So a question, do you think A Course in Miracles is a good non-duality teaching? And if you're not familiar with A Course in Miracles, it's actually a book that was brought out many years ago. I can't even remember exactly how many years ago, by a woman in America called Helen Schucman, who received this as a revelation from a higher source. And she was actually not really a religious or spiritual person, but she got this impulse to start writing down, and she started over a period of time, wrote down this entire course. And it's become a quite famous book in spiritual circles. And is it a good non-duality teaching? Well, I definitely thought it was for me. It was very helpful for me. I think I heard about it in the early 2000s, and I had a period where over a period of time I read the book. And then over the following years, I would once in a while go back to it and read passages, because I could feel that the wording in the book helped shift my consciousness. I got many shifts out of this, reading the book. Now, whether that means I would recommend it to everybody is a different matter, because here's my theory about spiritual teachings, okay? So, I've talked about we have these, in the past, or even in this lifetime, we've experienced traumas, difficult situations. And we respond to these traumas or react to them by creating these subconscious selves. And I've said that the subconscious self is based on an illusion. And in many cases, that illusion takes the form of a worded statement, some kind of belief that we adopt in words. A common example of this, that's not very complicated, is what happened to many of us when we were in school and we were presented with this more and more complicated math. And it came a point where our minds couldn't deal with it, and we simply decided, I'm no good at math. And this is an example of one of these statements we can come to make. Or we were drawing and somebody gave us a negative reaction, and I thought, and we thought, I can't draw. I never did that myself. It was always easy for me to draw, but math I had trouble with. So I did create a subconscious self that said, I'm no good at math. And so this is just an example. So what I'm saying is, we have many of these subconscious selves that are more complex, that were created in more complex situations. But the core of this self is this belief, this worded statement. And many times, in order to overcome that self, we have to, we kind of have to come to see the illusion in that worded statement. And that can often happen by reading a statement with words that counteracts the statement that we have in our minds. It's kind of like you can say the belief that we adopted, that's a limiting belief, it's kind of like it's a pair of handcuffs. And then there can be a certain worded statement. It might not be from a spiritual teaching, or it could be from psychology or even a novel, that is the key that goes in the lock and unlocks the lock. So you have probably, if you're a spiritual person, you have probably experienced this all of your life. You read a book, and there's a certain sentence that just stands out at you, and you feel a shift in your consciousness. So where I'm going with this is that we each have our individual statements with words. So in other words, you and I, we might have in a past life experienced a very similar traumatic situation. And we might have come up with a very similar reaction, creating a subconscious self. But you might have one worded statement that's the basis for that self, and I might have another. So that means that you might read a spiritual teaching. It has no effect on you whatsoever. I read the same teaching, and it unlocks it for me. I suddenly see it. Or, of course, the other way around. So that's why I'm saying, you can't really say one size fits all. One spiritual teaching should do it for everybody. That's why it's so naive when spiritual people go into the same mindset as the fundamentalist Christians, that there's only one truth, and it's our teaching and our guru. So as I said, for me, the Course in Miracles gave me a lot of shifts in perception. But for other people, it might not work. The other thing I would say about the Course in Miracles is that I have not really, I read the book, I made use of it. I never went into any of the groups that are based on A Course in Miracles. But I have a little bit of knowledge about some of these groups. And to me, some of them have become closed systems. And I think that's a pity. And I think it's a pity because the Course in Miracles, the whole idea is, this was not a human being who made this up. This was given from a higher source. I think most of these groups believe it came from Jesus, which, if you believe that Jesus today could have revealed this book, you must believe he's an ascended master, basically, even if you don't use that terminology. So what I have observed is that some of these groups, they have done what many other spiritual groups have done. They've said, oh, we have this wonderful teaching. Maybe even I think they have the highest teaching. We don't need anything else. This is all we need. And that's the kind of mindset I don't quite grasp. Why turn it into... The whole idea of the Course really is that we have been trapped in a certain state of mind that keeps us in a prison. And we have to reach beyond that state of mind in order to be free. So what sense does it make to take the book that was given to set you free from that state of mind, turn it into a closed system and say this is all we need? I don't grasp that approach. Now, for me, it was, maybe not a typical user because I already had the teachings of the Ascended Masters when I found the Course, and I had used them for many years. But I found that there was no contradictions between the Course and the teachings of the Ascended Masters. But the Ascended Master teachings explained a lot of things that are not explained in the Course, because the Course has a specific purpose, and that is really to help with the psychology and what I've called perception filters. So there's a lot of questions that the Course isn't attempting to explain, but they can be found in Ascended Master teachings. So I don't understand why you wouldn't make yourself, if you're open to this, that there could be a revelation, make use of that. I understand, because I've heard this, that there are some of these groups that are based on the Course in Miracles that they don't accept me as a messenger for the Ascended Masters. They don't like me as a messenger because many years ago there was an answer given by the Ascended Masters saying that the Course in Miracles wasn't revealed by Jesus, but by another Ascended Master called Kuthumi. And actually Jesus and Kuthumi are quite similar, and for some it can be difficult to tell them apart. So I think that might have been why Helen Schuckman was confused about this. But anyway, some people are so attached to that this should have come from Jesus that they rejected what was said to me, and okay, what can I do about that? But as I said, why? And I don't understand it, because Kuthumi is also an Ascended Master who is very, very capable and has, he actually shares the office of world teacher with Jesus. So they work hand in hand. So how would it be a problem if it wasn't revealed by the Ascended Master Jesus, was by the Ascended Master Kuthumi? I don't quite grasp it, unless you have again turned it into a closed system. But anyway, so for me, the Course was very helpful. It has been quite a few years since I read it, but I think it's a good teaching. But again, you would have to read it yourself and say, does it give me these intuitive shifts in consciousness? And if it does, by all means, take advantage of it.